Hello and welcome to CopBlockRadio. We are live at derekj.me. Join us online. You can check out the features, the webcam, the chat room. It's also broadcasting at lrn.fm, the Liberty Radio Network. Tonight here in studio with you, it's Derek J. and Scott. Hey, Scott.
Hey, Derek. How are you?
We also have Dio on the line. What's going on, Dio?
What's up, guys?
Hey, you can take control of the show by Skyping in. We have both a call-in number and Skype. Skype us, send a contact request to CopBlockRadio. Your contact request will be accepted, and then we'll put you on the air. You can also dial in. Our number is 413-418-COPS. That's 413-418-2677. Looking forward to hearing from you. Right off the bat, we're talking about Ferguson, Missouri tonight. That's the biggest news. There's a live stream out of Ferguson, Scott tells us, and there are riots happening. What else is going on, Scott?
Man, it's I don't know. I'm not a big Alex Jones fan, but I tell you, he goes where the action is, or at least sends one of his guys there. So, you know, everybody, I would, think anybody who's kind of tuned in would be in the know with what's going on in Ferguson, Missouri after the teen was shot for essentially jaywalking. There's witnesses that are saying that he had his hands in the air. He was not armed. He was potentially shot in the back. It almost seems like just a cold-blooded street murder. The way it sounds to me now. You know how there's three sides, and now there's going to be more than three sides to every story. His side, and somewhere in the middle lies the truth. But there's the people of Ferguson, Missouri, and many people around the country now are very unhappy with what happened and what's occurring. So there's about a half-mile square area in Ferguson. It sounds like that is essentially on lockdown now. There's some people have been rioting since this occurred. I think he was shot on August 9th, so it's been 4 days now after the 18-year-old Michael Brown, and then there was another guy. He was 22. His name was Dorian Johnson. They were walking down the center of the road. The police engaged with them and were less than professional, but there's been rioting that's ensued, and people are looting, which is not. They're taking out their frustrations on the wrong people, just like what happened in L.A. After the Rodney King, the problems out in L.A. They were taking out on the wrong people. Their aggression should be, their frustration should be towards the police and the handling. And I believe the FBI is now becoming involved, but it really sounds like it was cold-blooded murder, but. I mean, I'm sure in the end they're going to say we've investigated and we have found that the officer had no wrongdoing on behalf of the officer. But man, it's getting real in Missouri. They have pretty much full SWAT out. They have I've seen reports from people there of snipers with firearms pointed at people who are protesting peacefully and non-peacefully. Because there are both, and you have to understand. You can't just say, "Oh, well, they're peacefully protesting." There's people who are being violent and destroying things.
Yeah, but Scott, it's easy to say that it's easy to sit in Pennsylvania or in Ohio or in New Hampshire and say that it's retarded for them to go after their own communities and stuff like that. But what do you expect them to do? Going up against the police is a suicide mission. So
that's what they're doing. That's what they're doing now.
You know what I mean? To go against them directly, you know what I mean? To do the rioting and the looting and things like that against the police directly is suicide.
I don't see a correlation. You can't. I don't see how you could justify or say.
I'm not justifying anything. All I'm saying is that I understand the frustration that the people are feeling. That's all I'm saying.
Right on. No, I totally understand the frustration. I wish they were being the bigger person about it.
The first person that throws a rock through the police window gets shot. The first person that throws the rock through the Piggly Wiggly gets a free toaster. I don't know. You know what I mean? It's like night and day as to what happens. So it's hard to it's easy to sit back and say that these people are this or they're that or they're this or they're that. But guess what? I mean, they're in the face of something that's obviously wrong. The police are obviously protecting the perpetrator. So, I mean, like, it's almost like, what do you expect them to do? You know?
The most frightening part of all of this to me is the SWAT teams on the ground stopping pedestrians. It harkens back to the days of the Boston bombing and the investigation that went on afterwards, where the pedestrians were being stopped by gun-wielding riot police in masks and riot gear. It's terrifying. It creates a terror zone. They're creating terrorism by stopping people with guns pointed at them. They've got their plastic handcuffs so that they can commit mass arrests. This is a war zone, according to the police officers. They shouted that at journalists from the Riverfront Times who were trying to document the events. Quote, "You guys are in the middle of a war zone." That's what they think it is, and that's what they're acting like.
Because that's how they've been equipped.
Well, you get what you prepare for, unfortunately, and the government always uses opportunities like this, crisis moments, to do things that they never thought possible before, right? Where have we heard that before? And that's exactly what they're doing here, is they're saying, we can bring out the big guns, let's use all our toys, because we accidentally shot one of the officers shot a unarmed black teen, and now we can use this as an excuse to point guns at everybody. Ridiculous. It's an occupying force, is what it is. And from the pictures, it should be clear to anyone who has two eyes.
I cannot believe that nobody really is concerned about the fact that there is a media blackout, that there's a no-fly zone, there's a, you know what I mean, like you said, they're stopping people walking down the street and stuff who are just trying to take pictures and stuff like that. I mean,
I don't know what media blackout you're talking about, because I'm getting a lot of news about this.
I mean, like, I don't see anything on, like, mainstream, you know, news at all. I mean, I'm talking about them.
The mainstream news has always been living in the past, man. We are the media. We are the new media. So we're getting this story out. And look at all the people on Twitter and Vine. Okay. You know? Well, we have camera drones. Maybe those will get used.
But with a no-fly zone, they.
Yeah, it's unclear. So. Very concerning about what's going on in Ferguson, Missouri. I assume we're going to be following this story for a while now. It's been, what, 3 days since the initial incident? No, it was 4 days already.
Yeah, it was on the 9th.
Yeah, so very concerning. Reading from policestateusa.com about the latest, saying travel was restricted and people were required to present identification at police checkpoints on public streets. The Riverfront Times reported, quote, "After clearing the street, police set up another blockage near the intersection of Nesbitt Drive," wherever that is. Only residents with an ID showing an address in southern Ferguson were allowed to pass, but not all drivers had their current address listed on their license. Daily Riverfront Times reported they watched as police turned away a woman who said she lived on the other side of the checkpoint because her license didn't show the right address. Officers manning the checkpoint refused to let anyone, including the media, pass. By evening, criminals again seized the opportunity to loot and create chaos, destroying their own neighborhoods to spite the police. More windows were smashed and buildings were robbed. Another 15 arrests were reported. This from policestateusa.com. What do you make of this? I mean, these people are destroying their own neighborhoods to spite the police. Where should they be directing their anger? I'm asking you.
At a place that they can't win. That's the problem.
Well, it doesn't need to be violent. They just need to direct their anger at the right person, the right perpetrators. You know, these businesses didn't do anything wrong just by being in Ferguson. Robbing them is not the answer. Their anger has to be directed to the right place.
Shiny badges on your jacket. Shiny badges.
This is Davi Barker
from
ShinyBadges.com.
Yeah, no error.
And I just want to...
So what happened, Scott? I can't get an answer from you? Where should people be directing their anger?
Dude, I thought we were going to break. I'm like, all right, well, we're going to break. We'll talk about it when we get back.
I'm not going to play 30 seconds of outro music. I wanted an answer.
Oh, I don't even. I'm like, whenever the music comes on, I'm like, all right, we're on break. We have like 5 seconds.
Yeah.
See,
No, man.
I think
music is when like you gotta get your most
Wrap it up.
poignant. Yeah, your most poignant. Is that the right word? Poignant.
whatever.
Your most poignant point is what you have to wrap up with when the outro music starts going. I want to like. I'm always getting practice with it. You know, you get like a couple practices per episode, but I always try and like make my hardest hitting point. Leave the caller with, or leave the listener with a question in their mind.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean,
I
don't. You know, I'm not in this situation. I don't know where it should be directed. I can tell you where it shouldn't be. You know, anything of violence towards other people. I mean, it seems understandable but illogical. You know, they need to start focusing on how they can either get justice for the person. You know, this kid, he was 18, or pretty much just eliminate the need for a police force.
Mm-hmm.
Tell them, well, you're not welcome here because we own this. This is our property. We are the citizens. They need to make them not like nullify the police, basically.
Mm-hmm. I mean, did you see the disrespectful police response to the fucking protest the first day? They were standing on the site where the kid was killed with their fucking police dogs yapping at the fucking people who were protesting.
Yep.
I mean,
it was right out of the civil rights movement.
Yeah,
it looked like I was looking into a colored version of the 60s.
Exactly. I mean, I couldn't believe it was America when I seen that,
Seriously.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm like, where are we? Cambodia? Is this I mean, what is this? Third world regime, or what the hell is this?
Mm-hmm.
Nope,
Did you see
it's Missouri.
Did you see the one Twitter trend? I saw an article and I can't find the damn thing. It was people were tweeting like 2 pictures side by side, and it was like, if it was me, something like that. I can't find it now, but it was like trending, and people. It was a lot of it was people of color were like, oh look, hey, here's a picture of me in my everyday clothes. And here's a picture of me in my, military or my high school graduation or something like that. And I'm trying to find it, and it was talking about how the media portrays, a victim of, brutality or a murder, as an African American. They're like, oh, look, this is a bad person, and they find the worst picture they can find of the person that was. Mm-hmm. They would make people judge them even more.
Right.
And it's like, here's people, they do it all the time. But I can't find the article, and I can't find the hashtag that they were using.
Do you guys want to continue with this story when we come back?
I mean, yeah.
I want to know what
to talk about.
I want to know. My first question off the bat is going to be, what would justice look like to you?
Okay.
So keep your answers ready.
Okay.
And yeah, we come back in 30 seconds.
301-2963, 800-301-2963, 800-301-2963, 800-301-2963.
While our satellite channel is free to listen to, it's not free for us. You can help us cover our satellite costs with a chip-in on the right side of the page at lrn.fm.
We're back. This is CopBlockRadio. Skype in. Are you concerned about what's happening in this world? Are you concerned about the growing police state? Are you concerned about teens unarmed, shot for jaywalking, or who knows what? Skype in, CopBlockRadio, or dial in 413-418-COPS. We're talking about the Missouri riots, people who are looting in the streets when nightfall comes, raiding stores, burning a gas station to the ground. It's really concerning to me what's happening here, people's reactions. I mean, on one level, it's concerning that the police are so brutal that they'll shoot an unarmed teen and leave him bleeding in the streets for hours as onlookers shout for justice. But then for the community to react with violence and looting is just a step in the wrong direction. It's really a bad scene. I mean, it shows me, like, look how far humanity has to come before we can have peace and reason in this world. We've got a long way to go.
Certainly do.
So what would justice look like to you two? All the people in these communities are holding signs. They're demanding justice. What would that look like?
Scott?
I think the big thing is that they're going to have to take all the it has to be an open forum where you have, okay, here's evidence, here's a cell phone recording, here's this, here's testimony, here's all these things, and it has to be open.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is, okay, well, this isn't admissible in court, even though it's this officer talking about killing some young punk kid 2 weeks beforehand and how he wants to do it. All these things have to come into play, and people need to know it, because this person is whoever this officer was, and I think that they actually released his name because I don't know, I haven't found it yet, but ultimately someone is going to have to figure out why this happened and what the circumstances, and if this person should be held accountable. It sounds to me, coming from the outside in, not having been a witness,
mm-hmm.
that there's a lot of people who saw this, and if not a lot, there's enough to where, okay, people are going to come forward and say, hey, look, this is what happened. Like the person that was standing right beside him is saying, well, this isn't what happened. He got out and shot the dude in the back with his hands up after he said he didn't have a gun in his hands.
Yeah. Go on.
If we have all these people corroborating the same story, and then you have the police officer who's saying, well, this is what really happened, and then his cohorts, his fellow gang members are investigating him, there can be no justice. It can't happen.
Yeah, I agree with that. I'd like to see a doxing as well. Go on, Dio.
I was going to say I kind of agree with that as well. I mean, like, at this point, it's going to be almost impossible to get the actual truth. So, therefore, justice is, like, not even possible, I don't think. I mean, I don't know. It depends on the honesty. It all depends on how much is actually true, what's known, you know what I mean, what they let come out. I mean, they obviously have started the protection of the officer right off the bat,
by not releasing his name. We forgot to mention that important detail. Who is this guy? Who the hell?
They've already thrown their card on the table saying, we're behind our officer no matter what. So, I mean, to rely on them to provide the information as truth is, like, crazy.
Yeah, we know better on this show than to expect justice from the police department, but to these people who don't know better, who are shouting, they're enraged, they're scared, they've got riot police pointing guns at them, what do we say to them? Well, I mean, they want justice today, and it's not going to be enough for us to say, oh, well, Anonymous has their own Operation Ferguson. They're working on doxing some of the police, so you just sit tight in your home and don't worry about a thing. We're going to get all the police's information up online, and people are going to, I don't know, do what with that? I mean, then what? We know who these people are. I mean, I'd like to see a little bit of the community reaction that the officer... what was his name? Hernandez, who killed the Californian... Yeah, who killed Kelly Thomas, exactly. And he was eating in a Denny's a couple of weeks after the murder happened. Ramos, that's the one, yeah. And he was shouted out of the restaurant by a customer, not the employees, not the owner, but customers who were members of that community said, I know who you are. You get the hell out of here. You're not welcome here. We know what you did. You're a murderer. And I don't care if your department says you're not. We know you are. We've got the evidence. You are a cold-blooded killer, and we don't like your kind around here. He needs to feel some sort of social pressure. Because what these cops, what they really get high off of is feeling higher and mightier than thou. That they can do whatever they want, and you're going to have to put up with it. Well, if they know their community is not going to put up with it, then they start to lose some of that magic behind the badge.
That sounds good, Derek. And in the case of Kelly Thomas, we actually had the evidence. Okay, in this case, so far as we know, there is no video.
That's right. Unfortunately, how could there be no video? Didn't this happen right outside?
I don't know. We're talking
parking
just to
lot?
hear ourselves talk because nobody's listening to us when we tell them to fucking film the police. So, you know.
That is frustrating, Dio.
It is very frustrating.
Where's your camera right now? Is it
Right
within
in my
arm's
hand.
reach?
Yeah, right in my hand.
Boom. We're ready. Ready to live stream. You got how many cameras you got next to you? You got one, Scott?
I've only got 2 beside me.
And I got 2.
And my laptop. I got iPhone, iPad,
They're all
laptop.
charging right now, so.
2 and a laptop. You got 1 battery on the charger. This is, you know, when I say cameras are the new gun, they're more useful than a gun, frankly. I mean, they do different jobs, but I have more occasion to use a video camera than I ever would a gun, and it can provide a lot more accountability and justice for poor Michael Brown than a gun ever could. I mean, what would we get if a person were to have shot the officer who shot him? I mean, you would see the media would actually start running with this story. They would say, "Cop killer on the loose," you know.
The cops would be using the media to try to find the person who did it.
Right. So that's why it's so important that the people who are angry about this find some resolve to be calm and you know, be better prepared next time. Have a video camera instead of smashing stuff. How about going out and buying yourself a video camera? Or if you're going to be stealing stuff anyway, maybe you should look in the camera aisle. Yeah.
Put that on the list.
Yikes. So I'm concerned about this. We'll be following this story. Anything more you guys want to say on this?
I hope that, you know, somehow in some way that there is no more people who are killed, because I honestly feel like it's going to happen. And I don't know which side it's going to be on, but it's escalating, and it's not going to get any better. It's going to get worse before it gets better. And I hope that, you know, people start carrying video cameras, and, you know, they can use. There's so many things out there they can do, even just to record it on your phone and send it out.
Yeah.
So people know what's going on over there. You know, so people can understand. All you can do is share information. You can't be violent, or you're no better than they are.
I tell my followers, film the police always. You are all CopBlock.
413-418 cops. That's 413-418 cops. Share your thoughts on the Ferguson police. Have they gone too far? What would justice really look like? You can also Skype us. This is CopBlockRadio.
Free Press Publications is an independent alternative media and publishing company found.
Rock on, guys. Well, I'm looking at this picture. I didn't want to share this on air, but I'll share it for YouTube. I am still broadcasting and recording, by the way. So, like, during commercial breaks, we are still being recorded. So don't say anything that you wouldn't want to say over the air. The Ferguson police just executed my son! Exclamation point times 3. Is the father of this Michael Brown is holding this sign on a piece of cardboard that looks like total trash. He's also holding a water bottle in his hand. I mean, I'm not trying to kick a guy while he's down. Obviously, he just suffered a pretty serious tragedy, maybe one of the biggest tragedies of his life. But this is weak. This is a weak form of justice. This is a weak photo. He looks weak. He looks like, you know, not an empathetic character.
What you trying to say then?
I'm not trying to kick him, but I'm trying to say, like, if this happens, I don't know. You gotta look.
Some emotion, bro.
I don't know. You gotta look good. I that's all I gotta say is, like, these people are making themselves look bad. They're responding poorly, and I want to help. I want to give suggestions, like, don't write on a piece of cardboard and look like trash. Like, how about that? That's a good start. Because all these officers, all these police officers, are wearing uniforms. They're holding their hands. They're solemn. They've got a serious look. They're all decorated with medals. And then you've got a bunch of people in white T-shirts and baggy sweatpants shout at them. You know, this does not look good. We need to, like, look better than the police. They've got that I don't know, they've got like a mind control thing going on where people just believe they're legitimate because they look serious or they look calm, and then other people, they don't look calm.
They didn't look too calm to me when they were saying, "Bring it, you fucking animals."
Yeah, it didn't look calm.
Really?
But I'm talking about these photo ops.
So one of the you know, it's hard to say what's real and what's not, what's coming out about this story right now, because there's no actual coverage. There's no, you know what I mean? Like, you don't know exactly who's just making shit up and who's actually there. But the one thing that I did saw say that the cops that first night when they showed up, one of them had said, "Bring it on, you animals."
Yeah. Terrible.
Like, shouted it out to the crowd, you know what I mean?
This is that's
not a professional police officer.
No, but it's not a racist thing at all, but they are acting like animals. I mean, I've seen video, and I want to be on the side of these protesters. Trust me, I am not in the side of the police.
Of course.
But they've got to step up their character. Like, they've got to represent themselves as...
Be more like us.
Well, you know, I try and set a good example. I'm not trying to say people have to act exactly like me, but they got to set a better example than the one they're currently setting. We got a call coming in.
Sure.
Let's see my way to answer.
I mean, that's what I mean too. Is that the rioting and the looting and shit like that looks bad to people, but people just don't understand why they're doing it.
Right.
You know, and the reason that I see that, well, some people also just want a free TV, but you know, I mean, like, the people who are in it and doing it to make a point are there saying, well, if I go up against the cops, I'm going to get shot, so I better just smash this window in this fucking, you know, speedway or whatever.
That's not the answer. It's so
I'm aware of that. I'm just saying
you know that.
Yeah, it's
So
just, I'm just saying that's where it's coming from, you know?
Right. Hey, caller, can you hear us? It still says we're answering this call, but I clicked that like a minute ago. Oh, we're back on.
Hello?
This is CopBlock Radio. You are listening to LRN.FM. You can call in 413-418-COPS. That's 413-418-COPS. Caller, you are on CopBlock Radio. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Are you serious about talking about their clothing and wardrobe?
Yes, I'm serious about that.
Yeah, no, really, man. I mean, these people are from a destitute neighborhood. Most of them had trouble with the police before. They're ignorant to the situation. They don't know who to go after. They're pissed the fuck off.
Who should they
and
go
they're worried
after?
about their wardrobe.
Yes, I am.
But they should go. They don't know who to go after. Who would you tell that they should go after? They're going on quick trips because they're not going to go to the police station. They're frustrated. They're like children that are angry. They're not animals. These people just are uneducated.
Okay, so calling them children is better.
Smart.
Wait a minute. Calling them children is better than calling them animals?
Yeah, I believe so. I'd rather be called a child way before I'd rather be called an animal.
Okay.
Definitely.
That's
Anyway,
your choice.
that's still a human being. Anyway, I'm sorry that you put a bow tie on and go out and fight, because I understand why they're angry. I understand why I thought you guys were there for a reason to show that these cops were acting out of line. Those guys should conduct themselves and wear medals and dress in that manner because that's their profession. They also should conduct themselves in a manner where they don't shoot unarmed people.
I agree.
I mean, it's just ridiculous to say that they should conduct. I mean, these people, for years they've been destitute. They've been taught to be uneducated. They've been fed food stamps. That's their manner. Like, I mean, that's the same reason you don't drive in that neighborhood. At the same token, they're not going to fucking dress up in. What do you mean? I mean, these guys aren't.
They dress up for church.
I think you.
Oh, come on, man! The guys that are doing the rioting aren't the ones going to church. Come on, that's like their grandparents that are like scolding them for it. You know that.
Now you're
man.
judging.
These guys. No, we're not judging.
Yeah.
Think about it, dude.
You are.
Think that a Baptist minister is going into Quick Trip and stealing candy bars,
Hey,
or maybe his grandson that's
I don't
had
know.
some trouble.
I don't know where you live,
It's
caller,
uneducated.
but I'm from Philadelphia, and I can tell you
I've been all
exactly
over
the
the
same.
country, man.
Exactly the same.
Unfolding.
You're muted, okay? You're on hold. You're muted. I lived in Philadelphia, and I lived in the ghetto community, all right? And I can tell you the same people who would loot those stores are the same people walking to church on Sunday dressed like, you know, they're ready to walk into the 1920s or something. They're ready. They're all dressed up. They have nice outfits, okay? And all I'm saying is maybe they should take a break, calm down, and assess the situation before they act like in your words, children. Go ahead with your thoughts.
They're throwing a tantrum. They're acting like children. What do you mean?
And I can't even hear
How
him.
is that insulting in any way?
All right. What else do you want to talk about?
What do I want to talk about? I'm making a point. You've made a point that was completely ludicrous to the situation. I go on here and I get this live link finally to go through. I'm like, hell yeah, this is cool. And then you're talking about their wardrobe and the father of the guy's kid.
Actually, you've talked about their wardrobe more than any of us. It was just a
no, I
comment
have.
in
That was when I tuned in. That was when I tuned in. I called, and that was exactly my point.
Okay.
So yeah,
well,
I talked more about it. Okay.
I appreciate you listening and sharing your thoughts. Anything else you want to share?
No, just kind of lame, dude.
All right, thank you for your call. We continue with stories from PoliceStateUSA.com. Any thoughts you guys want to share on that caller? Was I out of line? Call me out.
No, I don't think so. I think that he missed the point that you were trying to make. You're saying, hey, make an event of this. Make people understand how you feel about this.
What did people do in the civil rights? What did people do in the civil rights movement? They dressed up, right? They went in with intention. What did
be the better person?
Yeah. What did the civil rights people who were getting bitten by dogs dress like? Were they wearing white T-shirts and baggy sweatpants, or were they wearing bow ties and three-piece suits? Okay, it makes a difference how you present yourself, and the police know that. That's why they're in uniform. That's why they're sitting behind a uniform line. That's why they all dress the same. That's why they have those attack dogs. They've got the look, okay, and the people who are trying to oppose them need to recognize that and step up their game a little bit. That's all I'm saying. Anyway.
As much as the police suck, we could certainly learn a lesson from them in that aspect.
Yeah.
Right. Look at us. We got a lot of numbers because that makes us right.
Well, anyway, I'm not on the side of the police. I think that should be pretty clear. I'm just trying to make some recommendations to people who are angry and upset and confused right now. And what I recommend to them is that they go home, collect their thoughts, figure out what real justice would look like, and then achieve it. Anyway, let's continue with more stories. We could go on. We'll continue taking calls about Ferguson, Missouri, or whatever else you want to talk about. But PoliceStateUSA.com has a headline, Police Taser 8-year-old Girl When Babysitter Calls for Help. An all-too-common situation where an authority figure thought the right thing to do was to call a murderous gang. Well, guess what happened? Pierre, South Dakota. The use of force on a child sparked controversy after an 8-year-old girl was tased following an apparent suicide threat. The incident occurred when a babysitter phoned police on October 4th, 2013, saying the young girl she was supervising wouldn't put down a knife and was threatening to hurt herself. So what do you think the right thing to do would be at that point? You're the babysitter. You think you're going to call the police?
They call their parents first? Was that the first step or no? It doesn't say.
Nope. She just...
First step.
Yeah, first step
Call
looks like
parents.
she called the police. So 4 Pierre police officers arrived and confronted the girl, identified as LMJ. She was holding a 4.5-inch paring knife found in the kitchen. I guess you could do some damage with that. The force used to quell the situation has drawn varied reactions and has prompted a lawsuit to be filed against the Pierre Police Department by the girl's mother, Dawn Strensom. Officers only spent seconds trying to reason with the 70-pound girl, according to the complaint, before putting her into high-voltage submission by firing the sharp prongs of taser weapons into her chest from roughly 5 feet away. Quote, the force of the electricity shot through her body, lifted her, and threw her against a wall. The defendants named in the lawsuit are the City of Pierre, South Dakota, former Pierre Police Chief Robert Grandpré, and 4 officers who were at the scene. Officials backed the officers' use of force. Oh, big surprise! They backed the officers' use of force because they can do no wrong. South Dakota Division of Criminal Investigation ultimately ruled that the police had acted appropriately and found no wrongdoing, but Mrs. Strensom did not appreciate that filing and described the incident as excessive force. What do you think?
Taser on a frickin' 8-year-old? What?
Yeah, because negotiation as a police tactic is a thing of the past, so, you know.
Yeah, they spent seconds negotiating with her, so that it was reasonable, right? I mean, they had to use escalating force against a 70-pound little girl.
Excuse me, but if you're a babysitter and you can't take a knife away from a fucking 8-year-old, then you don't deserve being a babysitter.
Well, that's
Well,
true.
how many officers were there? 4?
4 officers were on the
4.
scene.
Let's think about this. 4 grown individuals. Let's call it 4, small women. Let's not to say, anything derogatory in that way, but let's just think about this. There's 4 of you, and one of you decides that they were in enough fear of their own personal safety they had to employ a taser on an 8-year-old. Most 8-year-olds don't know anything about aggression or self-defense. They're freaking 8 years old.
She probably didn't even know what a taser was.
I don't agree with that 100%, but I mean, like, doesn't the taser say right on it not to fire at people under 18 years old or something like that?
It should.
Not to use on minors? Doesn't it say not for use on minors or something, like right on the warning label or something?
It's unclear, but the department backs the action, so the department wouldn't defend something that was against their code of conduct, would they?
Oh, no.
It's never happened.
No. In America? No.
Yeah. We've got another story of police breaking their own rules when they seized an elderly woman's savings when she tried to fly with cash. They took over $40,000 from her person and had to remove her bra to do it, this 78-year-old woman. You won't believe this story. When we return on CopBlock Radio, share your thoughts. Call us out. You angry with my position or DOs? Go ahead and call us out. The number's 413-418-COPS. We want to hear from you. If you've got a Skype connection, Skype us. It sounds way better. This is CopBlock Radio.
Ladies, with the U.S. divorce rate near 30% and this job market looks
Man, I didn't know how to handle that caller. He was angry.
I couldn't even hear him.
Angry at me.
He was contradicting himself. He was saying, well, you're judging people, and these are children. They're not animals.
He's calling adults children.
Right. Like, oh, well, I'd rather be called a child than an animal. Well, that's your opinion.
Yeah. I guess because there's racial undertones to calling black people animals or something. But it's like, no, you act like an animal, I'm going to call you an animal, no matter what color you are. White, black, yellow, purple, it doesn't matter.
Right. Green from Mars. It doesn't matter. You're acting, you're using aggression, and it's directed towards the wrong group of people.
Well, and they're all acting like animals too. I mean, the police and the rioters.
Right. I don't think that. I just think that he totally missed the point, and he was just. I don't know.
I get offended and upset when police use language like that, like provoking the group, calling them animals. That's provoking behavior, and it's frustrating. But the right thing to do is to keep yourself calm, be polite, keep the moral high ground. I mean, and don't lower yourself to, police. They try and take
from Gandhi.
Right. Well, they try and take control of the situation, and often, I think people fall into their trap of making them appear like they belong there. So, what I mean by that, I've fallen into this trap. Maybe I should talk about that when we return, because when I was arrested once upon a time, it was my first time, and I was totally calm until they put the cuffs on me. I started shouting, I was screaming, I was yelling, I was calling the officer names. Wrong thing to do, okay?
It's too late.
Big mistake, and that was all caught on camera. So I look like an animal, okay? And I look like the guy who's on top of me is justified in being there. But if I remained calm, if I continued to explain myself and kept my volume low and was calm, then people watching the video would say, well, that's weird. Why is the police officer standing on a calm guy? He doesn't need to be controlled or detained.
That guy's not resisting arrest. He can't be beating him up. He's
right.
Not resisting.
But I fall into the trap of adrenaline, and that rush and trying to the fight or flight mechanism. Dude. Yeah, well,
You're going rape cage.
I was scared. So, but the right thing to do is to stay calm and collect your thoughts and then act rationally. So anyway, I can't say that I haven't done it. I'm guilty, but it's because of the experiences that I've had that I can impart this advice onto others.
Right. I mean, there should, instead of doing just a picture online, what about a press conference, dude? Your kid just got killed. Getting a press conference from you, people are knocking on your door.
Right.
You're already going to have a lawyer pro bono, guaranteed. Easy.
Right. Good point.
It's not difficult.
That's a great point.
People want to be your attorney at this point.
Yeah, they do. Hey, are you guys signed into the chat room?
Yes.
I don't think so. I was earlier, but then I got sidetracked.
I just jumped in, so if there are any thoughts or questions that chatters have, make sure to let me know, Dio.
Shut up, Donnie is my friend from here, from Ohio.
Oh, cool. Shut up, Donnie.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah.
That one is your what the hell?
I posted a meme earlier today. Am I wrong?
No,
Am I wrong?
You're just an asshole.
Yeah.
Exactly. All right, back in 15.
Yeah,
we need to get like multiple screens here because I just keep going back and forth. It's not working very well.
Oh yeah, you need to.
He's like my second here in Cleveland.
Listen to LRN.FM on any phone, anytime. 213-493-0309. That's 213-493-0309.
413-418-COPS. That's 413-418-2677. We want to hear from you about the Ferguson police or about anything that's going on in your neighborhood as far as cop blocking. Hey, and I want to hear, before we get to this next story about this 78-year-old woman who had her life savings stolen by the police, tell me what's going on in the world of cop block for Dio.
Not much right now. We're kind of in between checkpoints and whatnot. I'm trying to get out to a checkpoint with the new sign after having been having my initial one stolen from me by the police in Parma.
Yeah, recap that story for listeners who aren't familiar.
Okay. I was, as I do every time there's a checkpoint here in Parma, I was out, blocking the checkpoint with a sign that said, checkpoint ahead, turn now. And I was approached by a couple of Parma cops, one of which was just settled a lawsuit with the city about, or with a young kid about hitting him in the head with a flashlight and trying to cover it up. And they settled with the family basically, and he was one of the ones that came. I had been looking for him, and he had come up to give me the ticket for the or to give me the shit about the sign. Mm-hmm. And I hadn't realized who it was until the other cop had told me who it was, and I was like, "That's the guy I'm looking for." I was like, "That's the person who cost the city this money for this reason, and you want to bitch at me about a sign?" So they were telling me basically that the term "now" on the sign was illegal. Now, I mean, we all know that's freedom of speech, so right. It's bullshit. So it was immediately picked up by the news, and
is that in court?
Yeah, the 26th. I'm going back.
Wow. Okay. Well, we'll be following that. I look forward to seeing that.
Yeah, I'm trying to update on Greater Cleveland CopBlock and stuff like that, but it's just you get the initial court dates are nothing but a shine on, and then they tell you, well, you don't have to show up for this one. Here's a new court date and stuff like that. So I'm trying to make sure that if anybody does want to show up, they're going to be there for the actual thing. So hopefully that.
Are you able to record for those who aren't able to attend?
No, actually, Parma, thanks to me, has initiated you can't record inside the Justice Center rule. Yeah.
Thanks to you. That's one of the interesting paradoxes about promoting personal freedom is when you live free and try and expand freedoms for everyone else, sometimes it backfires and the authoritarians ruin it and try and blame you. Like, well, we could have had the freedom to film in these courthouses, but that damn Dio he abuses his freedom so much. We needed to restrict everyone's freedom, so you can thank him now that you have less freedom. Isn't that weird?
It still makes them look bad. I mean, I put out a video about it and everything like that, and it's. I mean, people have responded like, "Really, you can't do that now? And since when?" And blah blah blah. It makes them look like they're trying to hide something. So, so be it. You want to hear something really messed up, man? I went there. I went to that same courthouse to go support a friend who was pulled over for flipping off a cop. And when I went in place, I was sitting there, and the judge actually, I had nothing to do. I was just sitting there watching. Okay, I had no court docket or anything, like nothing to do with the court that day. The judge actually called me up to the podium and searched my camera and my phone to make sure that I didn't have them turned on recording while I was sitting in the courtroom.
I see. Have you considered, well, I won't ask if you've considered publishing some surreptitious recordings. That could be interesting to see what they do about that. What about you, Scott? What's going on in CopBlock Town, Scott, USA?
Oh man, it's actually a big, I've been doing a lot of outreach with other people. I've kind of been reaching out, whenever I go out, I put, a lot of flyers up and stuff like that. I don't have a lot of issues right around, I've selected to move away from, more aggressive police departments. And I've been doing mostly just outreach with other people. We've been giving out, some flyers. I always carry business cards and things like that with me.
What flyers do you hand out? The Know Your Rights flyers?
No, we actually have a CopBlockRadio one that we put together, and it
Really?
just talks about the show and stuff like that.
Cool.
I can get you a PDF of it.
Yeah.
Those are like, one of the big things that I try to do is, just get the information out there, and, community boards, library, anywhere you can get somewhere with a thumbtack in it, stick it right there. Gun clubs. Anytime I go out and buy, ammo, anything, I always carry that stuff with me, and I'm constantly getting asked about my shirt. What's up with your shirt? I wear my, who owns you shirt. I would say I have more than one, but anytime I wear it, I have questions, and I've actually had one of the first times I had somebody ask me about it. After the person walked away, I looked at him and I was like, "That is a cop." I just
How did you know?
Click. Just his personality, his mannerisms, and his appearance.
Did you confirm whether or not it actually was, or were you just predicting?
I would say I'm 99% certain. I never went back and looked the dude up, but they kind of have that little aura about them.
I don't know. I mean, I don't want to generalize too much, but I can see a type. I can see a type that would become a cop. It's a football jock type.
Yeah, they kind of, a lot of them, not all of them.
Not that there's anything wrong with being a football jock. I love me some football jocks, but not the kind who go and become cops. Unfortunately.
Yeah, and they bully other people.
So you've been propagandizing this week. You haven't been cop blocking. You've been a propaganda minister.
No, I've been pretty fortunate and haven't had any unfortunate run-ins with the boys in blue recently. And I haven't been actively seeking them out, but I've been working a lot.
Well, what's your average?
Just outreach.
What's your average cop block? Do you just you pull over when you see them on the side of the road? You take out your camera, film them, or do you schedule Saturday night? I'm going out. I'm gonna hit all the bars, or what's your MO?
Mine's pretty much, if I see somebody pulled over, I get myself positioned to where I can park my car where they can't see my vehicle, and I'll, get out of my vehicle and walk over and just stand, an adequate distance away and film. There's no problems, turn around, go the other way. I don't do a lot of engagement with officers because I know, some of the officers in the areas that I travel, I do a lot of traveling, but people have had issues where they're, now it's, the camera's getting taken. I'm just not interested in trying to have a conversation with somebody who I don't think is gonna, be able to be reached. I'd rather reach out to somebody who, isn't in law enforcement that can make a bigger impact.
Word. I hear that. I haven't been able to do any cop blocking this week either, but I was able to do some propagandizing as well. Always propagandizing on the radio, and I guess this is the activism that we've chosen to do tonight. So instead of being out on the street,
that video last week wasn't new, Derek? You and Pete and JP and all them?
No, that was a couple of weeks ago. I mean, it's newish, but it's a cool video. We've been putting out a few videos.
Yeah, it is. I
put one out on my channel on YouTube, Freeman TV. So if folks want to go check that out, it's FR33 Man TV. And I've got a video of a man who was pulled over for supporting activists. He was honking his horn in support of activists late at night in Manchester, New Hampshire, outside of a DUI checkpoint. He did not go through the checkpoint, but was pulled over because he was honking in support of the activists. He was then arrested for DUI, and it's a real tragedy. He was just feet from his house, not miles, but feet from his house when he was taken out of his car and put under arrest, thrown into a rape room, and left there for the entire weekend.
Most sharks always attacks in the shallow water, right?
Well, and they attack those who, support their enemies. So, the activists are peacefully protesting the DUI checkpoint. They're helping people avoid it, and probably saved this man, or would have, had he not been taken in by the police afterwards. But anyway, yeah, that's a cool video. You can check it out. It's probably also mirrored at CopBlock on YouTube. So, going back to the story.
You guys had like 30 activists out there. That was.
Oh yeah, more. I would say 40 probably.
I live for the day that happens in Cleveland.
Well, we outnumbered the police probably 2-1, and if it were the same in every neighborhood, and it could be the same in every neighborhood, then the police will be more well behaved. I mean, that's what we see. Numbers make a difference. There's no doubt.
Definitely.
That numbers make a difference in Manchester, and you'll see there's criticism amongst the group, right? There's no uniform effort here. So JP, who is known as Centurion here in Keene, the Shire, he does cop blocking on a regular basis. He's probably the number one cop blocker in town. But
he lives for it, man.
That's
yeah,
right.
He came down to do it with us, man.
But he was criticized by some of the fellow activists. They were saying, hey, don't shout at the police. Don't be so angry. Hey, why don't you calm down? Stuff like that. So I think we can all take a little bit of criticism, even if we're experts, even if we're the best in the biz. We can all listen to input from others who might have something interesting and important to share with us. Well, coming up, we've got a story. Poor 78-year-old woman had $40,000 and more taken by police, not from her hand, but from her bra. That story coming up on CopBlock Radio.
The warning signs.
At first, he made me feel special.
How you guys doing? You hanging in there?
This is good stuff. This is the best radio show you've had since, like, a while.
Yeah. It helps whenever you get, like, interaction with different people and stuff like that, and people who get, because it's hard because, there's so many similar opinions, and it's like, well, this is, and it's like, okay, well, I agree. Like, you have to get somebody in there that kind of sees something, like, no, that's bullshit. Like, you have to have somebody that calls you out, We're not all going to agree on everything, but, whenever you have those disagreements and different styles and, different opinions, it kind of makes it more entertaining. You get better, you get better engagement.
Sure.
Yeah, I agree, and we all pretty much believe the same thing. So finding those points of disagreement is where it keeps the show interesting. So I'm glad about that.
Yeah, whenever we were talking, it's like, man, I got to get a hold of Daniel Solomon again. They frickin' confiscated his drone, and you were talking about
over the Navy, over the aircraft carrier.
Yeah, I think that's what it was, and it was a situation where photography was encouraged, but God forbid he have a drone. So,
yeah. They told him bring your cameras.
Right.
Wow, but not a drone.
Right. Apparently, yeah. They don't. You can bring a camera, but only the ones that you can hold in your hand, not the ones that you can hold a remote control in your hand and it takes the picture from somewhere else.
I did a thing on it. I'll try to find the article.
Have we played This Is What Happens When You Call the Cops? Have we played that on this show?
I don't think so.
I don't think
you guys both know what I'm talking about, though, right? The video. This is what happens when you call the cops. It's a rap song.
I was just gonna say it's like a rap song or something like that.
Yeah, and it's got a video with it too. I can show the video and we can play the song.
All right, play it.
All right, cool.
What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, Getting back to Daniel. He's one of those guys that he's dropping F-bombs and he is very abrasive or brash. I don't know how you want to call it.
He's the mistaken bacon guy, right?
He is the mistaken bacon guy. And
actually, isn't that Tom Zebra?
I fucking love him.
Yes, his real name is Daniel Solomon, but he goes by Tom Zebra, and he has a website, Mistaken Bacon, and he has a YouTube channel that was something cops in all caps. I can't remember what it was, but his video, his Mistaken Bacon's back up now.
Here, I got that article. You want me to put that up in the put it up in the show prep thing?
Oh, yeah. Cool. Thank you.
Yeah, he's like
the guy. Will you send that to me over Skype too?
I gotta see if I can do that. I got
or in the chat room.
Yeah,
somewhere.
yeah. Yeah, definitely.
All right, cool. Somewhere where I can add it, because I'm keeping notes on all the stories we talk about and like calls and stuff.
It's in the. I'm putting it in the chat right now.
Okay, cool. I see it.
Yeah, that's the link. Yeah, I love that guy, man. He was fucking. I did a whole thing on that. I was like, it's all about the process being the punishment. These cops don't give a shit about your rights. They're here to do the bidding of their masters, and the main goal here is to take a valuable resource away from an activist for as long as it takes to go to court. He'll be without the drone until court resolves the issue, and even then they'll hold it until they feel like giving it back.
That's right.
And then
another one.
But then they get free drone out of the deal, and they get to steal and erase his footage, the beginning of which is phenomenal footage.
Yeah, he actually got another one already. He's using it.
He said, I'm going to get another one. I'm going to order another one today.
They need to know that their tactics aren't going to work. I mean, they're violent thugs up against peaceful people who are more creative than them, and we've got more resolve. So, and it's because we're not. It's not just. They're paid to do their master's bidding, as you put it. The activists who oppose the police are in it because they care. Like, we're going to outlast them. The people in the American Revolution, just to bring up a violent analogy, but people in the American Revolution beat the Hessians because the Hessians didn't care. They were just paid to do a job. The people fighting for the American Revolution were like, well, I'm in this because my life depends on it. And I think activists who see police as a militarizing force, an occupying force, see it the same way. Although I would hope that they would use peaceful tactics and never violent ones, because that just won't work.
I don't know, man. There's a certain point at which you know, talking and protesting ain't gonna get it done.
Well,
see, I think that
protesting doesn't get much of anything done. I'm talking about peaceful solutions. There are millions of peaceful solutions that haven't even been tried yet.
I can tell you right now that if it comes to violence, the American public is going to die. You cannot win in a violent situation. Think about everything that they have at their capabilities. You have a couple guys with some beans, bullets, and band-aids. No, you need batteries. That's what you need. Batteries for your
George Carlin said it the best. It's like the Army has flamethrowers, so we're pretty much fucked if we got to go up against the Army.
Right. You're not going to win. You cannot violently overthrow. It cannot happen.
Right. That's why keeping the moral high ground is so important. Being consistent and being peaceful shows who the real aggressors are. So
I want to stop paying your taxes. That's the way I think.
I think it's one of the best things you can do, Dio. I think that is one of the strongest messages you can send. If you're not happy with the service, don't pay for it. If more people had the courage like you did, then we would see a more peaceful world tomorrow.
It's funny now because after 43 years now, I'm starting to hear from the IRS now.
Uh-oh. What are you hearing?
They're telling me that I owe them this and that and the other thing. They sent me like a paper saying send back money, but never told me how much. So I'm like, yeah, I don't think so. I've just been ignoring the notices, just reading them and throwing them in the garbage.
What was I gonna say? Oh, you can't win with violence, but they can lose with it.
That's right.
That's the first shot's gonna be fired by them. So
Well, several shots have been.
That's true. I mean, that just goes to show,
Yeah. Yeah. We can't win with violence, but they can lose.
So we're almost coming back
like
for the second hour. Do you guys have stories that you want to share? I could keep going all day for the stories from the freethoughtproject.com or.
The only thing that I was going to talk about was kind of, it's not a lot. I was going to talk about. In Pennsylvania, there's a court that says that you have to wear you can't wear pajama pants, and you cannot hand them boob money.
Can't hand them what?
Boob money.
Like you can't take money out of your bra and hand it to them.
Wow.
And people like
that's a law?
That's a sign that's at the courthouse, and that's what I want to talk about.
Okay, I want to hear about that.
I have one man charged with assault for yelling at a police dog. So
I saw that one too. You going to talk about that?
There's not a lot of story behind it, but I can, yes, bring it up.
Okay. What the fuck?
aftermath of his messy 15,088 BC divorce. Paramedics say the Supreme Being had no pulse when he arrived. The Lord's overdose comes in the wake of several widely publicized previous suicide attempts, including a 1985 incident when the Lord leapt from the Grand Canyon, changed into a bird at the last second, and flew to safety.
Okay, I'm going to bring us back. CopBlockRadio, 413-418-COPS. Dial in. That's 413-418-COPS. Or Skype us. You'll sound better that way. CopBlockRadio. We got one listener watching along at derekj.me, where you can see live video of this show. You can also join in a chat room. It's all free over there at derekj.me. Just one fix says, according to Alex Jones' crew, Al Jazeera was shot at by police by a rubber bullet at Ferguson, Missouri. Did you guys hear about this?
What? Is that the guy had a rubber bullet in his hand? It was just a picture of him holding it?
Unclear. This is an accusation by one of our listeners who says that according to the Alex Jones crew, Al Jazeera was shot at. So no confirmation on that. We can look that up in between the next segment and now. But Scott, you had an interesting story you wanted to share with the listeners about a courthouse in your town.
Okay. So, well, this is in Pennsylvania. Luckily, this is in kind of a smaller city. Luckily, I don't live there and try not to go there. But this is in York, which is in central, like south central Pennsylvania, I guess. But there was 2 notices that were posted at a courthouse. And the first one says, money from undergarments will not be accepted at this office. And then it has the same thing in Spanish. And then it says, pajamas are not, and not is underlined, appropriate attire for district court. So they're going to deny you entry if you are wearing clothing that they do not deem appropriate. And they also will not take your currency, federal, your FRNs, if they don't approve of them because it came from somewhere other than a woman's purse or something like that. So many courthouses do things like this. These are not laws. There's nothing to back this up, but the concern is the mindset behind it. Whenever I found this on a news Facebook page. People were supportive of this, and the problem is they're trying to make the laws fit their morals. And they're saying, well, do I think that you should take money out of your tit pocket and hand it to somebody? No, I think that's inappropriate. I think it's, disrespectful, but I can tell you right now, I don't have a lot of respect for people who are stealing my money at the threat of violence or rape. Or violent rape. I don't have a lot of respect for those people, so I don't think that it should matter where that money comes from. They have to take it. And it says right on their little FRNs, this currency, legal or valid for all debts, public and private. Legally, if they enforce that, they can get in trouble. Oh, wait, they won't, because they're the ones that are, making the rule and enforcing it and then investigating themselves. The other thing was about pajama pants. Who gives a shit? I don't want people to wear pajama pants. I think I'm unprofessional. I think it's, it's disgusting. But guess what? I'm not going to make a rule or a law about it. It's your choice. It doesn't hurt me. I don't care. But people are like, oh, there should be a law about this, and there should be a law about that. People support this. And these are the same people who are, voting for somebody to take your money, more or less, or somebody to tell you what you can and can't do with your life. Or somebody that says, hey, I'm going to continue to do this because I think that the police are doing the right thing. These are the people that you have to reach out to. The people who just simply don't understand freedom or leaving people alone or the non-aggression principle or just like rights. Those are the people. And if you go down and you start looking at, things like this, and this could be any number of different, issues, just start watching the mindset that people have. And those are the people you have to reach out to. You're not going to convince a cop to quit his job and to do something better. You have to convince the people who are supporting them. because you're never going to convince a cop.
One of the effective things that I've done over at a courthouse is hand out don't take the plea deal flyers, encouraging people who have been charged with victimless crimes to refuse the deal that's surely going to be offered to them when they walk into court for arraignment. The prosecutor's going to say, hey, you could face up to a year in jail and a $500 fine for that open container you had. We wouldn't want a nice boy like you to end up in a rape room, would we? So why don't you just plead guilty and we'll go easy on you. We'll knock some time off and just make it a $1,000 fine and no jail time. So how about that? Well, the deal is always against you. It's not in your best interest. You could always take your issue to trial and then have a jury that would have to convict you, saying, well, is an open container worth sending someone to jail for? If just 10% of people charged with victimless crimes were to take their charges to trial, the courts would stop. They'd be completely overblown. They're already overblown as it is. They're overbooked. I don't know about you, Scott, but when I get a court date, it's months down the road. And then it's going to be, and then they're going to push it back. They're going to push it back. Oh, you know. So
yeah,
you'll have the.
Didn't Eric say last week or the week before something like that they shouldn't be able to, like, if you decide to fight your case or whatever, then they shouldn't be able to charge you with more than the last plea deal you were offered.
Right, that's what it should be. Yeah, but
I remember hearing him say something like that.
Right, but of course they can. They can offer you no time and then go back on that as soon as it's time for trial. That happened to one activist here in Keene named Rich Paul, who's currently behind bars. He was offered a plea deal of 0 days in jail if he would just plead guilty. He said no and took it to trial, facing 81 years in prison instead of taking a plea deal of 0 time. So that's some courage right there, and I'd like to see more people do the same.
Yeah, talk about having a set of morals. He was morally opposed to telling them I did this because his charges are BS.
Well, he was set up by
he was set up by somebody else, you know, and the FBI Drug Task Force got involved. Seriously, please come on.
Garrett Fox is on CopBlockRadio. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Oi, oi, oi.
Oi.
Hey, guys. What's going on here? Let me close out of this. It's totally bad form.
Oh, yeah. What, are you still listening to the broadcast? I thought you were a professional. Get on with it.
I forget about that whole 15-second delay thing that's going on.
All right.
Hey, guys, I've been having a blast listening to you guys for the past couple of hours here. Really enjoying the show.
Cool.
I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but there was something went down on Ocean City's. That's the Boardwalk in Maryland. They have this whole Boardwalk thing going up and down. Like, it's like 50 blocks or something like that. Like, all the people who go to Senior Week and all that stuff, they join around these certain areas, and all kinds of crazy stuff can go down. But apparently somebody decided they were going to show up and put up a movable strip bar. And when I say strip bar, I mean like a pole dancing bar.
Okay.
Have you guys heard anything?
No,
about
I've
this?
never heard of that happening. It's a strip.
I'm looking it up right now.
It's a strip bar on wheels. Only in Baltimore. No, wait. Where is this?
This is at the beach, down by the beach.
Yeah, it's Ocean City, Maryland. Are we allowed to cuss on this show?
Yes, we have to earn that rating.
Yes.
So please do.
All right, we often refer to this place as Ocean Shitty.
That's great. I was drinking something when you said that. I should have had more warning. All right, that was great.
That's accurate.
This is where all of the local hooligans go for their Senior Week and all that stuff. Like, a lot of old people are pissed off because they have so much money, like, up in these condos and these beachfront properties that they have and stuff, and it always gets overrun year after year by all these hooligans. Apparently,
good.
somebody decided they wanted to set up a non-permanent stripper pole this year.
You sound good, Garrett. You want to stay on for another segment?
Would you have me?
Please. All right.
I'm here.
Well, stay right there. We're going to bring you back. This is CopBlockRadio on LRN.FM.
On LRN.FM, we talk a lot about
Still there,
alternative
Garrett?
currencies. Did you
I'm
know
here.
that now you can buy gold and
nice.
silver?
Sorry about losing you,
This is
Theo.
with bitcoins.
This is
Sorry
a good
about losing you.
article.
Oh yeah, the article from pole dancing on the OC Boardwalk.
One of my favorite lines. I just just as you start talking about it, I'm all in favor of self-expression, but there's a limit, and I think this is a public space. You are a fucking retard. You are not for self-expression, and under no circumstances are you.
Right.
If you say I'm for the Second Amendment, but as soon as you say but, it means no. I'm not for that. I regret that statement.
You're right.
The family place, and I don't think it's appropriate for anyone to come out and bare themselves. Was anybody naked?
They should be, or they're doing it wrong.
No shit.
Well,
I want my dollar back.
I really want to save this for the show, but does it really matter when
We're
you're
still
at
broadcasting
a place?
on YouTube, Garrett.
Yeah,
So all your magic still gets sent over the airwaves and saved forever.
All right, I sent you guys. I sent you guys 2 links. Here's the deal.
Okay.
As far as I'm concerned,
Hold on, wait. How did you send them?
He sent it
first?
to me via Skype.
it's through
Okay.
the Skype.
All right, cool.
It's through
As
the
long as
Skype.
it's there. Thank you. We appreciate it. Awesome.
I see DEO 571.
Wait, you sent me 2 links of the same
That's me.
thing. Those 2 links are the same thing, Garrett.
Both of them?
Yeah. Send me something different.
Oh, jeez.
Wait. Oh, wait. No, one is parents complain, and then the other is pole dancing. No thanks. Okay, so they are. Different.
Yes.
You're right. My bad.
Okay.
You're not losing it.
I would never send you 2 of the same links. Here's the question.
Freedom is the answer.
Well, yeah, but at Ocean City, you're not required to have a permit if you are a musical or artistic performer. Like, you don't have to. You're not required to have a permit to go do your thing.
So are you saying like sexually artistic performers should be exempt from this permitting law?
If you exempt the part where you said sexual, and just
Why can't they be
inserted,
sexual?
well, that's the whole thing. Like, that's what this girl is battling about. Like, no, she's just gonna go do her thing. She's got her pole with a massive stand at the bottom.
Is there any video of this woman doing pole dancing? Because I'd love to show it on the show.
Let me see.
Yeah, it's not very good though. On the CBS Baltimore.
Parents complain about women pole dancing. What a great headline. Yeah. A woman is dancing in a way I don't like.
Video.
Call the police.
I'm offended.
Hey, Scott, do you
feel
have
hurt.
close to your headphones yet? Because I'm still hearing an echo from you, and I'm going to bring it up every week. Yeah, I hear the echo from your earbuds, and probably Garrett can hear it too, because he's got that radio ear.
I have no audio leakage.
No, Garrett has no audio leakage because he wears close-ear
headphones on. I
can hear a little bit of an echo. I don't know where it's coming from.
It's from Scott.
It's probably from me.
I mean, it's not bothersome. I don't really care. It's
I
kind
know.
of
It's only bothersome to like obsessives like me.
At least you're honest.
And people who listen.
That girl has on the same clothing that any patron on the stand has on. Same thing.
We're coming back.
Maybe more. She has shorts on.
Ren.fm.
CopBlockRadio, you can Skype in, take control, as Garrett Fox is doing now. You can Skype us at CopBlockRadio or dial in 413-418-HOPS, 418-2677. We started out talking about the Ferguson, Missouri raids. We welcome all comments and concerns regarding that mayhem. Plus, Pierre police taser a child. And we've got a video to share with you of this is what happens when you call the cops, an awesome rap that has been circulating the internet. Dogs and toddlers are breathing a sigh of relief as 400 cops are calling in sick in Tallahassee. We've got that story coming up. But first, Garrett, you're telling us about a pole dancing woman who's making parents upset.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can't go out on the street anymore these days and set up your pole to swing around on all fancy crazy.
Yeah.
What is the world coming to?
I like this. I want more pole dancing people. Men,
I
women,
wonder why I
doesn't
gotta
matter.
smoke weed.
Right.
You know, I'm reminded of a little protest I did with a couple of my buddies back in 2011. We went to Asbury Park in Delaware. It's a beach in Delaware where we were protesting. Where they didn't want to allow people to wear bathing suits on the boardwalk.
What?
And oh yeah,
that makes no sense.
Ask our homegirl Angel Clark about this.
Oh yeah,
she was
that's
there.
right.
She spoke at that.
Wow.
It was fun. Oh yeah, somebody got arrested for wearing the banana hammock.
That's right. The Borat guy.
costume.
Oh, tragic, man. That was
guy,
really
no-
horrible.
No pun intended, but that was pretty ballsy of him to wear.
Indeed, it was, and we all saw.
Hey, I got video of this pole dancer. You guys want to see it?
Yeah, let's
check it out.
Right.
It's not that good.
Itself as a family-friendly destination, but a Vegas-style street performer hits the boardwalk this summer, creating a wave of controversy. Parents are complaining, but police say their hands are tied. A woman dressed in a bikini pole dancing on the Ocean City boardwalk is drawing crowds and criticism.
Oh my goodness.
Ocean City leaders say they have no power to ask her to
This
leave.
is not even
because
very
2 years
risque.
ago, the
Here she is
ACLU
climbing up on a
sued the
pole,
town over
walking
street
around.
performers' First Amendment rights and won.
It's a joke.
Basically, the street performers can go up there as long as they're not breaking any other laws, and they're up there and they're performing. And
Well,
they're
the mayor says
exercising
it
their
should be
First Amendment
fine.
Rights. They have every
First
right to
Amendment
be up
rights.
on the boardwalk.
The Ocean City Police Department has
How the hell would
received
they know if they were
dozens
breaking
of
any other
complaint
laws?
calls on the pole dancer. Many visitors are stunned by the performance. Some people say at night
Yeah, I
the
guess
boardwalk
so.
has more of a club feel and less of a family
There's a
atmosphere.
lot of wood on that boardwalk.
Very offensive. I don't think that they should be allowed to do anything they want on the boardwalk. This is a family environment, and
The children.
definitely don't want her seeing.
Oh, my baby might see a woman dancing with a pole. Oh my God.
No, I'm all in favor of
Breastfeeding my
self-expression, but there is a limit, and I think
I'm
that
so
this
sick
is
of that
a
being the
public
excuse
place,
for
it's a
everything.
family place, and I
Oh,
don't think
I'm
that
for
this
free
is
expression except when I'm not.
Mm.
The town says it will seek legal counsel to see if this type of act is allowed.
It's not going to go away. The
Is this
Constitution
allowed,
of the United
Mayor?
States
Please,
isn't gonna
Mr. Mayor,
change.
give us
We have
permission
do
to
whatever
dance
we can
around.
do to make
Now
sure
hear this.
that the
What
public
is
side of
this,
the boardwalk
Footloose? I'm
is
tired of
getting
this.
the
I'm
Ocean
cutting this
City
guy off.
experience.
Screw him. All right, go ahead, Garrett.
He's actually the one that's saying, like, no, this is totally acceptable. We
Supportive.
yeah, he's sitting there like, you know, we allow people to show up with their guitars, their acoustic guitars, and they open their case up and accept cash. She's just accepting cash in a different way.
Oh yeah, I
At least
forgot.
she's not
'cause she
taking
accepts-
one somewhere.
'Cause she accepts
Maybe she
cash.
is.
Yeah, maybe she is. Maybe that's the problem. So she's got a little portable thing. Is it on wheels? Can she just wheel it around somewhere else when they kick her away?
I mean, all I'm
Get out
saying
of here,
is
scram.
a big
Looks like a
foundation
tetherball court.
Yeah, it does.
with a thing to swing around on. I never saw this when I went to my senior week at Ocean City. This is a fun new arrival.
This is a very good story. I'm very happy about that.
I can. So you're talking. It's kind of funny
Post
that
the
you say
link in the
that.
chat,
So
Lee.
I've actually been to Ocean Shitty, and
Yeah.
I went from my senior week, and looking back on it, I just had this conversation with some guys that I graduated high school with. We were standing there, you know, everybody's underage drinking, like, you know, everybody's 18, everybody's just,
Yeah.
you know, partying, you know, they're celebrating they got out of high school, And
the 21-year-olds are scared they're gonna get busted.
Yeah, no kidding. And so we're standing there, and it was raining, and this pair of cops come running down the boardwalk, and the first cop's kind of a heavier set guy, but the second one's a younger guy. He's like, he's all fit and in shape, and all of a sudden he falls on the boardwalk. He slips, he loses his foot, he eats it on the boardwalk. And there's 200 drunk kids just standing there dead silent. Nobody knew what to do. And the guy gets up and he takes like 3 more steps and he eats shit even bigger than the first time. And like the entire boardwalk erupts in laughter. It's like, you poor bastard. You go get that guy who's not hurting anybody.
Oh man, cops are such a joke. We've got an update from that one commenter who told us that Alex Jones reported Al Jazeera had been hit by rubber bullets. He says the latest event was caused by one person throwing a bottle at the police, and all hell broke loose with tear gas and rubber bullets. All other protesters were being peaceful other than the one. Gee, I have to ask myself if that's an agent provocateur.
No.
They had a professional lighting system. He says this from Just One Fix, 2004. He says they had a professional lighting system set up, and we're obviously news, and I guess we're shot at, as well as the Alex Jones crew was also shot at. They have a live feed on Ustream, Real Alex Jones. Maybe we can take a look at that during the next break.
It kind of goes. I was on that one earlier, and it kind of keeps going. Like you can't see anything anymore. I don't know if it's there's a lot of people watching it, but I don't know. It's just it doesn't stay up very long, and then it goes back down again.
I thought they were in peace talks.
Who? Gaza and Israel, or Ferguson, Missouri police and the protesters?
Yes.
Yes is the answer to both. So we're coming up. We got a story about
the Iron Dome.
Yeah. Which have you heard about that being perhaps a myth? I haven't seen any video of this Iron Dome in action, and one would think that if it was a real thing, we would see somewhere some missiles being shot out of the sky, but I haven't seen that yet.
I don't know. Somebody said their imaginary friend diverted the missiles, but we won't get into that topic.
I don't know how it works, but I haven't seen the Iron Dome working. Any other thoughts you want to share with us tonight, Garrett, before we let you go?
Just, I'm loving the show, guys. I intend to listen more frequently.
Rock on, man. Appreciate that. So, continuing right along with the stories we've got here. PoliceStateUSA.com, a 78-year-old woman is now fighting to get back the proceeds of her recently sold home. Why is that? In Detroit, Michigan, federal agents seized thousands of dollars from a woman at an airport because she didn't tell them how much she had. Now the government seeks to keep the cash without placing a criminal charge on the woman. We'll continue with that story when CopBlockRadio returns on LRN.FM. Dial in and share your thoughts, 413-418-COPS, or Skype us at CopBlockRadio.
Hi, I'm Derek J. To me, an activist's calling
it's
is
me.
to actively work to advance.
Hey, Derek.
There
the
you
cause
are.
for which I work is personal freedom.
What? Got to do a new ad.
40 grand. That is slightly under the national average annual income.
Wow. Took quite a lot.
2012. You just raped a woman of an entire year of her life.
Well, yeah, and not just that. It's probably more than she's ever going to make again because she's 78. She probably needs that to retire with.
She's old. It's old, wrinkly skin.
We're getting a lot of good stuff from this Just One Fix 2004 guy. He's putting a lot of info up. The most recently he shared a video. It's on this YouTube video. So if you go to derekj.me and you click on the video feed, then you can jump into the YouTube page, and it'll have the comments section down below. That's where Just One Fix 2004 is trying to communicate with us a little bit.
If you go to GarrettEFox.com and just click the subscribe button, I will only charge $10 a month.
Really? You have a subscription to your website?
No, I'm totally kidding. But I do have a website.
Derek. Like, what? Why can't I just see everything? All I want is just infinite wisdom. I just want to see it all. What the?
You guys, should I hang out? You want me
No,
to drop off?
yeah,
or?
you should drop off because I don't have a way. Here, let me see if I can disconnect.
Who was trying to
you.
call earlier? They called like 3 times in a row. It's like just shut up.
That was Dio.
Oh, all right, he's cool.
But that problem was my fault because I should mute all of the Skype sounds so that I'm just like I'm using my eyes to tell what's happening. Sometimes I listen for the sound. Or what we could do is have like a CopBlockRadio caller or some sort of sound that happens when someone calls in. The Freenet Fiends has something nice. It goes, Fiend phone, Fiend phone, Fiend phone.
They don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
Not there anymore.
Well, I don't know if you heard my recent Fiends episode, Garrett, but I Fiend drone bombed someone.
I listened to you and Diane.
We did 2 days in a row. We did Sunday and
I
Monday.
listened to one of 2 and 2 of 2.
Oh, okay.
It
Well,
was
then you heard them
very
both.
wonderful.
Yeah, in 2 of 2, I had a caller that I had to drone bomb with the telephone.
No, I heard you
God.
trying to get like a phone call in there, and you're like, "Well, this is not working. We're just going to talk about stuff."
Yeah, it was hard. It was a hard show.
You pulled it off well,
Thanks,
my
man.
friend.
Thanks,
Yeah,
man.
that's good.
Now get lost.
Get the hell out of here. Should I hang up? Seriously, like,
Yeah.
would it make it easier for you if I hung up?
Well, I'm trying to see if I even can get rid of you from this call, but it appears I can't. So now that I've added, oh no, wait, let me see if I can. This might get rid of you and Dio.
I'm gonna see if I can hang up on you.
Yeah, I'm gonna see if I can hang up on you. If I can't, then Dio, you call back, but Garrett, you stay home.
Okay.
Good call, man.
Did I
Thank
lose
you.
him? No, you're both still here.
I'm still here.
Is Garrett still here?
See ya.
I don't know if he's just faking us or not. Okay, well,
Might be.
well, this will do it for now. Appreciate it. Thanks, Dio.
Mhm.
All right, so we're still on. We're coming back in 15 seconds.
Okay.
church.shiresociety.com.
If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm.
CopBlockRadio on LRN.FM. You can take control. Share your stories of police abuse. 413-418-COPS. Or you can share your stories of positive cop activism. Maybe you've reached out to some police. Maybe you're an oath keeper. Maybe you are a police officer. We welcome all calls here. You can also Skype into the program by dialing CopBlockRadio. Send us a contact request. It will be accepted, and then we'll put you on air. So we're rolling right along with a story from PoliceStateUSA.com, where just yesterday it was reported that 78-year-old Victoria Farron of Clearwater, Florida, had about $40,000 stolen from her by the police. Here's the story. According to reports, she had recently retired and sold her house and planned to move to live with her daughter in the Philippines. The woman then faced with this decision of how to move her money internationally. So she decided to take a dual-pronged approach. Some of the money went via wire transfer, and she decided the rest she would transport herself when she flew over. So on April 2nd of this year, Victoria was boarding a Delta Airlines flight to the Philippines at Detroit Metropolitan Airport when she was stopped at a federal checkpoint by the U.S. Customs and Border Protection agents and scrutinized about what she, as an American citizen, was carrying out of the country. The federal agents reacted when they discovered an alleged contradiction in the amount of money Ms. Farron had declared verbally and in writing. Agents then took the opportunity to rummage through every belonging she had, including the clothes on her body, to find additional cash. It turns out that the septuagenarian had decided to stow her cash savings throughout her luggage and even within her worn garments. She believed it would be safer to keep it hidden, safe from thieves or government agents, whichever appeared first. But her efforts to protect her cash failed. After finding wads of cash in her wallets and carry-on bag, the agents went so far as to remove the woman's brassiere and girdle to find the rest. In total, they seized $40,977 from the woman, which were proceeds from the recent sale of her $120,000 home. So not that much. This is a third of all the money she has left in her life. They have just taken it and not even charged her with a crime. Quote, she stated that she did not wire the proceeds to the Philippines this time because she thought it was safer to carry the money. The federal agents decided to keep the money using a tactic known as civil asset forfeiture. The government let her go, minus the cash, without any criminal charges. And that's how it rolls. You guys, let's talk a little bit about civil asset forfeiture here for a moment, shall we? What is that?
Did she know?
What is civil asset forfeiture, Scott?
That is whenever the thieves are the police.
Can you elaborate? Because not everyone is familiar with this. Apparently Victoria wasn't.
Yeah, what they pretty much can do is they can say that your, whatever you have, maybe it's a vehicle, maybe it's some sort of, computer software, cars, boats. If they feel that it is in some way connected to an illegal activity, they can take it from you and they can keep it and never give it back, or use it as they please.
Yeah, you have to prove your innocence to them when it comes to where did you get that from.
That's right. That's what civil asset forfeiture is all about, and it's been used to target not just grandmothers, but members of the motorcycle gang Hells Angels have been recent victims of civil asset forfeiture as they've been pulled over, had amounts in sums of about $60,000 stolen from them, but then they're not charged with any crime. So how do you fight it in court? You can't. Well, she'll try to fight it in court if she has any hope of getting her savings returned, but U.S. Attorney has already filed a complaint for forfeiture on behalf of the U.S. Department of Justice. So the government's going to try to permanently keep her money just because it can.
They will. You know what? This poor woman, she's out pretty much an entire, we looked it up on the break. This is almost as much as an annual salary of the average American. I think in 2012 it was like 44, give or take 1,000. Like, what? You just stole a year of somebody's life, and the person's already old. You just stole it. That's stealing.
That's right. I've got a special video that came out earlier this week, was it? Or no, it was last month on July 14th, Call the Cops by Rob Hustle. And this is something worth sharing because of the story earlier where the babysitter called the police thinking that was the right thing to do, that they were going to come in and save the day because we've all been trained to believe that cops are heroes, right? Wrong. This is what happens when you call the cops.
This is what happens when you call the cops. Say what? This is what happens when you call the cops. Come on. This is what happens when you call the cops. You get your rights violated or you all get shot.
This is what happens when you call the cops. This is what happens when you call the cops. This is what happens when you call the cops. You get your rights violated or you all get shot.
I'm sick of people being victimized by criminal cops. Psychopathic predators terrorizing neighborhood blocks. Equipped with pepper spray, mace, cuffs, tasers, and glocks. They like serial killers acting out subliminal thoughts. Forget what you taught. These cops have got a license to kill. Witness intimidation means that they can use it at will. Code of silence means that the pigs will never let out a squeal. And if they go to court, they know the judge will make them a deal. For real, that's why they stopping me, locking me up and stopping me, confiscating my property, darkening my demography, making the poor commodities, profiting off of poverty, enforcing policies, supporting prison economies. Yeah, no one makes money when the violence stops. Hating brutality's the way to make a criminal crop. Blood in the gutters, how the rich butter they bread at the top. And that's why this is what happens when you call the cops. Come on.
This is what happens when you call the cops. This is what happens when you call the cops. This is what happens when you call the cops. You get your rights violated or you all get shot. This is what happens when you call the cops. cops. This is what happens when you call the cops. This is what happens when you call the cops. You get your rights violated or you will get shot.
911, what's your emergency?
I'm mixed up in the system and these pigs is trying to murder me. They mace me, they tase me, they trained them to hate me, degrade and detain me and change just like slavery. Hands up, face down, left hook right quick. Lay you down, hold you down, slap you with that night stick. Night shift, riding around, see you with your J's on. You'll get sprayed on over Skittles, word to Trayvon. All the people saying is it's crazy down in Florida. What you saying is you playing, it's the same in California. They ganging like they banging and they'll hang you down in Georgia. Frame you in a case for what you say without a lawyer. Swarming with no warning, now they sorting through your residence. Swarming with no warrant, now they snorting all the evidence. You better just learn to dodge the box, cause this is what happens when you call the cops.
Come on, this is what happens when you call the cops. Say what? This is what happens when you call the cops. This is what happens when you call the cops. You get your rights violated or you all get shot. This is what happens when you call the cops. This is what happens when you call the cops. Say what? This is what happens when you call the cops. You get your rights violated or you all get shot.
We got a baby in the living room.
Get the grenades, pull a pin, throw it in the crib, blow him away.
There's a homeless guy camping here.
Well, tell him to pack. When he gets up and starts leaving, shoot the bum in the back.
This guy rolled through a stop sign.
That's drugs for sale. Get some doctors to rape him, send him a bill in the mail.
We got a black man knocking on a white woman's door.
With 10 shots, point blank, he ain't gonna knock no more. Look, the problem starts at the academy. New cadets are indoctrinated with a military mentality. With them as the soldiers and us as the people that battle. We're either collateral damage or combat fatalities. Either way, the reality's that it's not gonna stop. Cause this is what happens when you call the cops. This is what happens when you call the cops. Come on, this is what happens when you call the cops.
This is what happens. Say what happens when you call the cops.
Come on.
This is what happens when you call.
This is what happens when you call the cops. This is what happens when call when you all get shot. Bang.
Well, don't expect to hear that song on the radio unless you're listening to LRN.FM.
I want to use that in my next video.
That is CopBlockRadio. You can dial in and take control. Share your stories of police abuse or of cop blocking. We'll be right back after this with Dio and Scott and Derek J.
Are you a political activist who does things that the government might not like? Then this free ebook may save your life. Rats is your guide to protecting yourself against snitches, informers, informants, agents provocateur, narcs, finks, and similar vermin. Rats was written by OG libertarian Claire Wolfe. Rats is a short book, easy to read, and available free in many formats. Download Rats free at rats-nosnitch.com. That's rats-nosnitch.com.
Free Talk Live.
I did all this construction, so I had the inspector come through, and he tells me it looks really good, but I think it looks better with Mr. Hamilton. I go, excuse me? He grabs a sledgehammer, and he just starts tearing the place apart. He says it'd be better with Mr. Hamilton. He was looking for payoff.
A $10 bill?
The guy was crazy.
Have you guys been watching
my kitchen?
the Alex Jones video?
No, should we watch that?
No, they're just kind of like walking around. I have it on mute, so I can't see, I don't know what they're talking about.
Well, why don't I put it on? Where should I find it?
Let's see, at ustream.tv/RealAlexJones.
Ustream.tv/the Alex Jones?
Real Alex Jones.
Real Alex Jones. I'll put it on for the break. I'm not seeing or hearing anything. I see a picture of Alex sitting on the ground.
Yeah, I clicked under videos and was under recorded one accidentally.
Recorded live on 8/13.
Yeah,
well, that was earlier
that's what
today.
I was watching.
59 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it looks like it's over, huh?
Yep. I don't know what the hell's going on.
Here, let's show it anyway.
Alright, somehow I was able to get to the vehicle after hopping fences and running around through neighborhoods. And I got to the vehicle first. As soon as I got to the vehicle, it was the only vehicle in the parking lot because everybody had already left. And I was immediately met by riot police They said I have to get out of here now or I will be arrested. So I just spoke with Jakari. He's running up side roads trying to get here. Josh is currently stuck in a car with a random reporter, and they are shooting flashbangs and tear gas at that vehicle right now. His phone's about to die, and I told him to give my number to the journalist he's with in case his dies and he still has a way to get a hold of me. Right now, I am at
They're
Delwood
throwing flashbang grenades at the vehicle?
Crossing Center.
Is that what he just said?
I think he said they were shooting rubber bullets at it, no?
Yeah,
right here
I
on the
thought
flashbangs. Waiting on the rest of my guys to get here.
I wonder what
They
shirt
are
he's
shutting
wearing.
down the entire road. There's word that they are looking specifically for journalists to arrest them. Why?
Damn.
Because they don't want the truth about what's going on to come out.
You were right, Dio.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm going to pause that because we're coming back in 45 seconds. We need something good to close on. What are we going to close on? We're done with the story about the old woman.
We still haven't. I didn't say anything about that getting charged with assault on a police K9 for yelling at him.
Yeah.
What's that?
If you want to do
The
that.
guy yelled at the dog. Yeah, do that one.
Yeah, there's not a lot to the story. It's 2 paragraphs, but he's facing an assault charge on K9 for yelling at him.
Wow. All right, bring that up. Get that story ready.
All right. I'm ready.
Cool. Come back in 10.
Mm-hmm.
51-800-917-8251.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your
I'll
area.
post the link in the
Visit
chat, too.
broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
Just minutes remain on CopBlockRadio this Wednesday, August 13th, 2014. Time for your thoughts and calls if you make them quickly. 413-418-COPS or Skype us at CopBlockRadio. If you didn't get your call in today, don't worry. We're back every Wednesday at the same time, 10 p.m. Eastern on LRN.FM. And I've started broadcasting the show at DirkJ.me so you can see video and join in the chat room as well. So if you enjoy video production, join us there. So, Dio, you have a story that you wanted to close us on. First of all, I should mention to the listeners who weren't able to hear our discussion during the break that we watched a clip from ustream.tv/RealAlexJones where there are boots on the ground, journalist boots, and they're taking live stream video of what is happening. The report as of 1 hour ago is that the police have fired rubber bullets and, was it flashbang grenades at the news van?
It was. He was sitting. Yeah, he was like sitting in the other InfoWars reporter was sitting in a car with another guy from another news station. They were shooting flashbangs and rubber bullets at the cars, trying to get everybody to leave.
You know, I think it's worth it. I'm gonna play the clip of that. We just listened to it over break, but here's for the listeners at home. Take a listen. This is from
All right, somehow
Ferguson,
I was able
Missouri.
to get to the vehicle after hopping fences and running around through neighborhoods. And I got to the vehicle first. As soon as I got to the vehicle, it was the only vehicle in the parking lot because everybody had already left. And I was immediately met by riot police. They said I have to get out of here now or I will be arrested. So I just spoke with Jakari. He's running up side roads trying to get here. Josh is currently stuck in a car with a random reporter, and they are shooting flashbangs and tear gas at that vehicle right now. His phone's about to die. And I told him to give my number to the journalist he's with in case his dies and he still has a way to get a hold of me. Right now, I am at
they need to be using 2 ways.
Delwood Crossing Center.
Yeah, so he's at Delwood Crossing
here
Center,
in
and here's where he's going to announce the big news.
Waiting on the rest of my guys to get here. They are shutting down the entire road. There's word that they are looking specifically for journalists to arrest them. Why? Because they don't want the truth about what's going on to come out. Hopefully, I can meet up with Jakari and Josh soon this has turned into a complete nightmare.
Did he say about the flashbang grenades and the rubber bullets, or did I miss that?
I heard the rubber bullets. I didn't hear about the flash grenade stuff.
Well, anyway, that's what we've got from Alex Jones. We appreciate the boots on the ground coverage there. We'll keep you updated again next week.
He did say that the journalists were being targeted by police specifically because they are journalists.
Mm-hmm. Yep, absolutely. And he also mentioned that his cell phone was about to run out of battery. Of course, he's live streaming. That takes up a lot of juice. What he should be doing as a professional journalist activist who knows better is be carrying one of these that I'm holding in my hand. It's a two-way marine band radio, and you can scan 2 different channels with something like this. You can communicate with your friends across long distances. If you're in an emergency situation, this is going to keep its charge for a full 24 hours, maybe 48 hours. You can even get extendable batteries for these things. They're priceless in a crisis situation. You want to be able to communicate immediately with a large group of people. You just can't do that with cell phones. Grab a two-way. They're even cheaper, and you only pay for the service plan once. All right, moving along, you have a story that you wanted to share, Dio, about a man who is in hot water for yelling at a dog. Why is that?
Yes, apparently this gentleman in Port Clinton, Ohio, has found himself at the ass end of a assault charge for yelling at a police canine officer. The story from Reason.com reads, a 60-year-old Port Clinton, Ohio man someone called police on for stumbling while walking home with his bike ended up arrested after he refused to produce identification and was charged with multiple petty narcotics crimes as well as disorderly conduct, public intoxication, and assaulting a police dog. Did the man hit or kick the dog? No such thing. At the police station, he reportedly began yelling at the Port Clinton police canine, Spike, causing the dog to become agitated and bark, officers said. He then repeatedly continued to yell profanities at the dog and then made comments containing profanity to officers, according to the report. As if more evidence, cops consider themselves and are considered by some civilians and the political class as above the law that applies to people like you and me. Rarely are cops who kill dogs, unfortunately, people either charged with any crime. So this guy is basically facing an assault charge for yelling at a police canine officer.
Is there any indication whether or not this has made it to trial yet?
No, that's all the story reads on Reason, but, now that I know what's going on, I can keep a better watch on it. But.
Yeah, I'm interested in following that story a little further. There's some more news reported by News Herald, Port Clinton News Herald. They write, city man was charged with having drugs and yelling profanities at officers and a police dog Monday. Well, they make it sound a lot worse, don't they? Reason.com puts things in a little more perspective, and no surprise here, the same stream media is just reporting the propaganda that they get from the police. Often that's how reporters do their investigative journalism, right? They just phone up the local police, say, hey, what happened? And then they get the police's side of the story, and that's the full picture, right? Wrong. The 60-year-old man faces 1 misdemeanor count each of possession of dangerous drugs. Do they mention which ones? No.
No mention.
Assaulting a police dog, drug paraphernalia. You know what that is? He had a joint. That's what it is. I guarantee. It's a joint or it's a bowl of weed.
Pipe, yeah.
Drug paraphernalia, disorderly conduct, intoxicated, and drug abuse. Man, this guy's facing 5 serious charges, all for yelling at a police dog. Well, it shows.
Well, the interesting thing about Ohio when it comes to marijuana especially is the fact that you actually get in more trouble for the fucking paraphernalia. So you actually get in more trouble for the bowl than you do for the weed that's in it.
Ridiculous. It says that he was yelling at the dog at the police station, causing the dog to become agitated and bark. Well, if your dog is an officer, shouldn't he be more well-behaved? Aren't police supposed to endure verbal assaults? Isn't that just part of their job? You know, it's written in the job for meter maids here in Keene that they have to deal with verbal assaults from the public. So if meter maids are supposed to be able to handle it, I think police should too.
I got my feels hurt.
Oh, poor guy. So that's ridiculous. Of course, you know, the police are famous for shooting other people's dogs, like just killing them out of no reason. There a new story every day of police shooting a family dog for no reason other than it looked at them funny. And,
even the canine handlers. How many of the canine handlers have killed their dogs by leaving them in a fucking car?
That's right. Oh,
you know,
it's a tragedy. But
how
there
many?
should be
How many?
some...
There was the guy. Yeah, you were just gonna say probably about Northwest Indiana, right?
I was gonna say, how often do you think it happens? How frequently?
Well, there's no official statistics on this stuff, unfortunately.
We don't get all the
one
reports, I'm sure.
Yeah. The one that I could find was every 98 minutes.
Wow, that is outrageous.
On average, that's nuts. Every 98 minutes?
Yikes.
I mean, then there's the officer in Hammond, Indiana, who was basically hanging his dog by his leash and faced no disciplinary action for it.
Hey, we're running up against the end of the show. I have to let the folks who are regular listeners of the program know that our friend Jeff Gray is in a little bit of hot water. A journalist stalked by law enforcement. 100 officers, 28 agencies accessed his records 200 times. Those of you who follow Honor Your Oath on YouTube know this is nothing strange for Jeff Gray, but it should be strange for anyone to be stalked by this many government agencies. It appears that exercising your First Amendment rights can make you a target of the domestic security apparatus. Jay Simopoulos writes at freethoughtproject.com. Jeff Gray of Photography is Not a Crime and Honor Your Oath has made a mission out of filming cops and taking photographs of public buildings such as prisons and government buildings to ensure that officers honor their oath they swore to uphold in the Constitution. Exercising his rights apparently made him the victim of stalking by law enforcement, and Gray has had his vehicle tags and driver's license run over 200 times. This includes district attorney's offices as well as 100 different officers in 28 different law enforcement agencies. Well, that does it for this episode of CopBlockRadio. We'll be back with you next Wednesday. In the meantime, check us out at copblock.org. And guys, plug your websites. Where should people be checking out throughout the week?
Greater Cleveland CopBlock for me, baby.
Greater
Websites,
Cleveland CopBlock. And Scott will have the website next week.
I don't have time for that.
In the meantime, you can check me out at derekj.me. This is lrn.fm.
Free Publications is an independent alternative media and publishing company.
All right, rock on, guys.
Cool.
That was a lot of fun. Yep,
Yeah.
we are
Good job,
out.
Derek.
Thank you.
See you guys.
Yeah.
Thanks so
Good
much.
job for both
Peace.
of you.
Peace,
Yep.
guys. Okay, so that does it for our broadcast. I want to thank everyone who's listening and watching at home. If you enjoyed this program, I urge you to go over to my website, derekj.me, and click on the link in the top right-hand corner that says Sponsor. When you do, you'll see a screen that looks like this, and you can click on it. You can use that Bitcoin address and the QR code to send me some Bitcoin, because I put on this show for you. Of course, I don't get paid. I only get paid when you, the listener, enjoy my work and send me some Bitcoin. So go ahead and do it. You can highlight this Bitcoin address. If you haven't been set up with Bitcoin yet, head over to Bitcoin or blockchain.com. That's the best way to get started. Blockchain.info. You can go get yourself a free web wallet, load it up with some Bitcoins, and send them my way and sponsor shows like CopBlock Radio. Thanks for listening.